But not the only business based in Cornwall that is working in this field. Let's bring in Jake Gibson now. He's the director of Robotriks, which is a robotics-focused research and development company based at Par. Jake, morning to you.
Good morning.
It's the sort of thing that you might not necessarily associate with being here in Cornwall, this kind of business, this kind of industry. But why does it work so well here?
See, I would say there's been a huge shift over recent years, especially with technology being able to make and create and build things. And Cornwall is a perfect example of a place where there's a bit of open space. Anyone in their shed, not only can you've got the space to actually deploy and test robots, but you've got you've got all the capabilities you need because of the huge evolution in rapid prototyping and small-scale manufacturing.
At Robotriks, what sort of things have you been working on?
Yeah, so the work that we've covered has ranged from breathing assists to companion robots for the elderly, but our main focus as our business is our robotic traction unit. So it's a modular electric agricultural robot. And the idea is to try and help people with picking, planting, weeding and harvesting, being able to actually farm on those areas that are far more difficult or challenging to get into.
There are those calls from people saying they're going to take all of our jobs eventually. What are we all going to do when robots take over? Is that a fair point or not?
That is definitely a point that I've heard many a times, and it's a point that really isn't helped with when you've got Hollywood movies showing these terrible, dangerous robots everywhere. But the reality of it is these are simply tools similar to a screwdriver. When the electric screwdriver came out, it didn't suddenly put all carpenters out of work or other plumbers or professions. Instead, it allowed people to achieve a lot more in a smaller amount of time. And the whole goal of robotics and all of these new tools and robots is to do exactly that. It's to help benefit us to achieve the things that we want to do, rather than struggling and doing the same repetitive thing over and over.
It was interesting hearing about Amica and these kind of, that slightly, this humanoid emotion that is going on there. And then you talk as well about these robots that you developed to be companions for people perhaps who are elderly and facing isolation. What difference has that made? How does that work for somebody when they've got one of those with them?
It's something that we've done quite a bit of work going back a few years on, where we actually had some companion robots in care homes. And in care homes, you might get some animals, dogs, pets, but you can't necessarily share them around. Suddenly having a personal companion for every individual just gave that extra bit of companionship, that engagement, that added friend, so to speak. And we're definitely getting there with Amica and the way that these AI machine models are going, where these systems can be so much more personal, and how that benefits people is a very individual basis, because not only can it be there to physically look out for you, but from an emotional and a support engagement point, it can also be there and really help engage and share any problems that you might have.
Do you feel we have enough junior talent here to have some homegrown expertise with robots, or are we going to have to rely on people out of Cornwall, perhaps relocating here to bring their knowledge?
One of the things that I strongly believe in is we have the talent here. The difficulty is actually keeping the talent here. Anyone that's grown up, seen or made things themselves, you have the ability to be able to work on and design and develop these robots. They might seem incredibly complex and technical, but when you start breaking them down into the simple elements, they are actually quite simple and can come together quite quickly. In terms of, okay, where's the best place to focus and work on these new technologies and robots? As someone that owns a business in Cornwall that has been pushing and trying to keep more talent in Cornwall, I would strongly say the Southwest is a perfect test bed for that. It's just awareness of what's out there, because we'll often hear about these large companies, these multinational ones that are investing millions or billions of pounds into making these robots. But at the end of the day, a lot of this work starts off with the individual. It starts off with a couple of people in a shed building something truly unique that has a real world application that can be useful. And people here in Cornwall, they definitely do that aplenty.
Excellent. Jake, lovely to talk to you this morning. Best of luck with the business, which sounds like it's going from strength to strength. Jake Gibson there, Director of Robotriks, which are based in Park.
James Churchfield.
BBC Radio Cornwall.
You're not necessarily needing the lyric this morning to work out